Okay, students, welcome to the application development, the third segment of the lesson. The previous two lessons we have covered the database introduction part. There's the video is already available in the channel. Number two, we last week we again covered the SQL commands. All the commands have been covered. That's also available. The video is available. So today's chapter, we're going to learn how we're going to actually interact with the website, the front end and the back end, including the database layer. So this is going to be a full application development part. So since we have learned how the SQL commands are working and how to make use of the SQL commands, now we're going to use them practically in building something. Okay. So I'm going to build something uh, which is like maintaining some products. Okay, a database where we are maintaining some products. So because every assignment or every type of task we can't build it in the class, so we're going to build a program which will be focusing on handling products. So there will be creating new products, then we can be changing the details of the products, deleting the records, and searching for the records. Mainly these things. Once all these things are properly done in our backend database, products will be there, and we will be building a dashboard for that. Through that one we will be controlling this. Then we will be linking this one with the front end. So those are the main parts we're going to do. Apart from that, we will be doing like this encryptions we will do, then login module I will do, file uploading we will be doing, Ajax I will be doing, those kind of things also I'm going to teach. So the basic parts of the database application we have to build first. So once all the pieces are built for this one, chapter 7 version 1 2 3 4, like I will be building with additional features. So it will take some time for us to build. So every session we are going to complete a segment of the application that we are going to build. So we're going to do a products database maintenance website. We are like something like a, store. Like even if you take, this is something similar to that, the same thing what they have. So they have a products database where they want to exhibit that onto the customers. They want to show that to the customers. For your record, I did this photo shoot as well. All the photos are mine. So so that's how we're going to build something. So the backend, we're going to build the database tables, and we're going to link that to this one, right? Okay. So according to something like this, we will build, right? So not this much sophisticated. Simply, I'm going to build it using the sample template I have given you. This kind of a page I have already created. All the libraries have been linked to this one and properly given. So you don't have to worry anything about the front end designing part, because already this is properly linked with Bootstrap version 4. This is linked and the page has been given. So when we are doing the mechanisms, we can do step by step by step. Okay, right. Okay, let's do the coding then, right? Okay, we're going to start practicing from building the database connection first, right? So which means in between this program, in between our front end and the database, we're going to first of all build the link. Okay, so I'm going to build the link between our app and the database. So that file I'm going to build first. Step one is that. So in the upcoming lessons, upcoming lesson means upcoming part, what I'm going to do is, for example, if I'm going to work on adding a record, before adding the record, I need the database connection. So after having the database connection done, I can do the remaining parts, right? Okay, just give me a second, then I'll get ready with this, right? Okay, let's get started then. You don't have to create the files with me, but by the time you are practicing, when you're watching the video and doing, you can practice it while I'm doing it, no problem. But make sure you have a separate folder to practice everything. Have a separate folder to practice everything, and you should create these files on your own. Don't just copy paste my files and practice them. That's okay at the beginning, but at least you should code 1 or 2 times, then you can do this one on your own self. You can code this. First thing what we're going to do is, I'm going to create a file, right? Watch this. Now I just want to show you the my folder structure also here. So anybody who haven't watched my previous videos, I'll just show you the folder structure for you quickly. I'll show you the folder structure for you, right? So sites, This is your class folder. So chapter 7, I have a folder. Let me increase that, right? Font sizes. So chapter 7, I have folders, right? Like this. One is CSS folder is there. That is a wrong batch. Sorry. This is our one. Sorry about that. Yeah. This one is our folder that I have set up. I have zipped it and I have given you. If you go inside the CSS folder, all the things are available, including font awesome and everything is there, right? Fancy box, everything is there. So I think I gave this one from that this website I showed you, the very website I showed you, the things that I'm using for this one. I have given the library files. Okay. Then you can see here there's another folder which is JS folder, which has all the JavaScript files. Okay, full version jQuery is there, and Bootstrap is there, Font Awesome is there, everything is there. We're not going to need any further third-party libraries in order to work with this one. Even if you do not have an active internet connection, still you are good to go with this one because locally everything has been downloaded. We're going to work with that, right? Okay. Right, that's two things, and I'm separately maintaining an images folder. So just to get the look and feel, this one, of course, we will be using in upcoming class when we are doing this error messages and all. We will be doing validations. If the user does not fill the fields, and if they are trying to upload the values, then we're going to say beautiful error messages will pop up. Then for that purpose, I'm using that error message icon. That's all. So I already have given these things to you. And there's a file here called the sample page. So each time you want to create something like edit or delete or whatever, right? Even the add part, add routine, you simply copy paste this one and you will be renaming that to the file what I want, and you can do that, right? So that is simple as that. So that is what is shown inside the Atom software here. Okay, Atom software here. Right. Raise your hands. Okay, I'll pause the video. Right. First thing we will do is we're going to create a database table, right? Before creating the database table, we will need to create a database. So now you should be very much comfortable how to create a database or even how to create a database table, right? So I'm just telling and demonstrating. So now don't try to do with me. Don't do it. You take your time and do it. Database part, this chapter, that is the way to practice. While you're going to practice with me, it will take too much of time, right? Right click on the session, go to create new, select database. Then you can give a name. I'm going to give db underscore 4850. Okay, db underscore 4850 is going to be my database name. Collation, you're going to set it to UTF-8. UTF-8 general CI. Then you say okay. We already have it. Okay, db we'll say db ad 4850, right? So we just created that. So if it doesn't come here, you just refresh it. It should show up. Now it is showing up here, right? It is showing up here. So the previous one, you can see this is we created for practicing. So I'm going to make use of dbad 4850, right? So this is the database I'm going to use, right? So I'm going to have a table created inside the database now. So I will select the database like that, right click on that. Then I'm going to again select create new, then choosing table. Then here I'm going to type this table as product, name as product. So always have a habit of giving table names in singular. We'll say products master table. So I'm going to have some basic columns for this. For example, like primary key, like product number. Then we'll have a title of the product. We'll have a description for the product, price, and a picture. Okay. So we will have only those things, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll add. So first column, I'll say PID, product ID is what I mean by PID. That will be the primary key. Second one, I'll type title. So in Ikman.lk and all they are putting, right? So title, or here, uh, 3 by 6 teak bed. That will be title. 3 by 6 teak bed will be the title. Description you can put, then you can show other dimensions, the other things you can put, right? Description also will put here. So you can see I am using all simple letters. Description. Then you can use um, product title, description. We will put price. If we need, we can modify this one later, right? So you can say next one, you can say picture. So picture, for the time being, we are not going to upload. At the latter part of the database programming, we're going to upload this. But I'm creating the field now to have a picture uploaded later. You can have other things like, for example, in stock, whether it is available or not, out of stock. So or you can say quantity, how many you have. So if the quantity reaches 0, then you can say out of stock. Automatically, what do you call? Since we are not going to do the transactions from this one, we're just going to exhibit the products. So if you are planning to do something like that, you can think of having a column planned like that. Okay, column names done. I'm going to go for the data types. Product ID going to be primary key. So I'm going to auto generate this one. Computer will auto generate this one for us. I'm not going to change that. Title will be set to Acha. Description will be set to Acha. Price will be set to float. Then picture will be set to Acha again. And length title, I will set it to around 150. Description, I will set it to 500. And picture, we will be auto generating a file name like in Facebook or something. So I will put around 60 will be fine. Then none of these things will allow null, all the things you have to fill. For the picture field, I'm going to select a default value. A default value I'm going to choose. I'm going to say default.jpg. So default.jpg, wherever you don't have a picture for the product, a default picture will be displaying, or a picture not available like photo will be displaying. So that I just added there. Don't use single quotes, automatically single quote will come. Then one more thing I need to do, which is setting up the primary key. So I'm going to choose product ID field, right clicking on that, going for create new index, then choose primary, create new index, set primary. That's all. So once you have done all these things, so I created the field names, set the data types, set the length, remove the allow null. Then for picture field, I set the default value, yes. Then I set the primary key for the product ID field. Those are the things that I have done so far. So once you have finished this, you can save this. You can click on the save button. The table will get created. Okay, table will get created. We are not going to do anything else. Okay, we're not going to do anything else. Only the table is created. So if you go to the data part, table is blank. So I'm not going to add the record from here because last week I showed you how to do that. So here I'm not going to do it. So directly we're going to go to our PHP application, and from there only we will be adding the records. So let this table be there. This is fine. We have done it. Number 2, step 2, that is table database has been created. Now we are moving on to the PHP section now. Right. As I told you, all these database applications will require you to have a connection between your application. The mic is on where I either have to have my hand here or here. Sorry about that. So we have to have a link between our application and the database. So we need to have that link done, right? So that is what we are going to build. So carefully inside this chapter 7 folder, I'm pressing letter A, letter A. Excuse me. And I'm going to type it as db underscore connection. Most of the projects people are doing like this. This is a general file name, so I like to I prefer using the same name. So db connection dot php file I'm creating. Okay, so this is going to be a pure php file. There are no other codes available, right? So this side I have a reference file. Without making any mistake, I will type that, right? PHP code I'm going to use. So I can have a comment here, database connection code. So that's the main database connection code, right? Fine. So I need 4 variables actually. One, I need the name of the server, to which database server I'm connecting to. Since I'm in my local computer, I can type localhost. When we are migrating this to the real website, I'll tell you how to change these things. For the time being, when you're working in your computer also, you use localhost, or you can use the IP address 127.0.0.1. Right. Then you can use username, yeah, username. Username, the database administrator username I'm using, which is root, and I'm going to use a password. Default password is blank in my system, so I'm going to leave it as blank. And if we take, we can get ourselves connected to the database server. Inside the database server, there are lot of databases available. So if you take a look at my one, there are plenty of databases here. See, so out of these databases, to which database particularly you're going to plug into, which database you're going to particularly connect it to, that is this one, which is db underscore ad4850. Right. So we're going to say db underscore name. So which is db underscore ad4850. So that's the name of the database name. So these are the fields what we're going to use. Then we're going to use MySQL I, right? MySQL I object is created like this. This is a built-in class, children, which comes with PHP itself. You just have to call their constructor method by passing in 4 parameters, which is the server name, username, password, and the database name. As parameters, you just need to pass in these values. So a database connection can be created as simple as that. Just one line of code, simple as that. So we set that one. So we can say server, username, password, and database name. So these are the things that is necessary. Next line. Now, due to some reason, the database connection can fail. If the database connection fails, what we need to do is we need to make sure we inform the user, or at least the developer gets notified. So to do that, we put an if condition and we write the code like MySQL earlier we had MySQL, now we have MySQL I, which means MySQL improvised. With the version 7 point which is introduced, for the support for the previous type of database connections have been dropped in as PHP. So don't try to use it like MySQL connection and try to get connected. It won't work because in the latest code, now we are using PHP 7 plus. So in that one, this is the new way to do it. So always you had to use MySQL I, not MySQL, right? So if you want to refer to an object, property, or a function, this is the way to do that one. There is a property called connect error. So there's a property called connect error is there. So what happens is when you put the connect error there, by the time you are trying to connect to the server, if something goes wrong, this property will have a true value. So this if condition, if this is true part, you will go inside the code. So I will put an error message like, we'll say, I will display MySQL I error number. Then again, we can use what is the error. We can get it displayed. Then we can display. You can put a command called die. You know what is mean by die? Die means after line number 13, our program is not going to run, because if the database connection is failing, there is no point of going beyond that point. So we're going to say connection failed. Connection failed. Okay. So outside the loop, outside the if condition, I can say echo connection successful. Okay. Right. Let's try this one. in our code in now. Okay, so this is the code. So I can just quickly recap that. We need 4 parameters. One is the server, username, password, and the database name. We use the MySQLi built-in class. MySQLi is the built-in class which has all the necessary methods and properties. So this is how you create a MySQLi object. Purpose of having a MySQLi object is in future to execute the SQL commands so that we can work with our databases using our applications. Then MySQLi within parentheses, what we do is we pass in these parameters in the same order. So server name, username, password, and the database name you have to supply. Then occasionally or due to some reason, your database connection can fail. If the connection fails, what we need to do is we need to put a if condition and inform the user or at least the administrator. So why it is failing. Always don't think it is a fault of the developer why this connection is failing. There are other occasions it can fail. I'll show you one or two now. Now, what's going to happen is if MySQLi connect error. So this is a property available inside MySQL object. You know, MySQL is a class. From that, we created an object, MySQLi. So by the time you are creating this one, if the connection did not properly happen, if it is not properly happening, this connect error property, this is a Boolean property, will have the true value. If this is true means, you know, what happens if condition gets true, it executes the loop. If condition, that body, this block will be executed. So when you are executing that one, what we are doing is, this is actually troubleshooting code. It shows echo MySQLi error number. Most of the time, database errors or errors have a specific number. With that specific number, you can find in the documentation or in the third-party websites. We can easily find that. That's the reason. Further, we have here error number. Next line, we are printing error. What is that? That's in text message. It will display what went wrong. And we put a custom message saying connection failed. And beyond that point, nothing will get executed, right? Okay, now we will try this code in our program and see, right? So I'm going to my project now. So I will delete this part. And if I press enter key, you can see my database connection code is there. I'm going to click on that. By doing so, I'm trying to execute that code. So we'll see whether we can get connected. Excuse me. Now see, it's a local one, really fast. It got connected. So it says connection successful. Now to make this connection not work, what I can do is I can make a mistake in the database name. Let's say we'll remove 10 from here. If there is no such database there, that will be a problem for the program to get itself connected. So we will reload this and see now. There you can see things are going wrong and it says connection failed. Beyond that point, nothing will execute. If it went beyond that point, this message should have come. This is just written right after the if condition, because from this line of code, computer is stopping the execution of the code. That's what's happening. So I hope you understand that. So it says MySQLi construct, that is construct method error, unknown database. So that's the issue, right? Unknown database. It is giving the error message there, right? Warning, those kind of things are coming. Right, seems all right for you, right? So we can make one more mistake, right? So this is made a mistake by the developer. I made that mistake. Let's say your database is down, right? So I'll refresh this once again. See, now I reload. Now it's working properly. We go here. Yeah, fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the MySQL service, right? So this is not the fault of the developer, right? So developer has nothing to do with it. If it is the web server, let's say for the maintenance, they are shutting down the server for some hours. During that time, you are trying to log in. So let's say what it's taking some time. See, you can see that. We'll see what is happening, right? It says no connection could be made because the target machine actively refused it. The reason is target machine is not there actually, right? So things are coming up like that. Couldn't fetch MySQLi, right? So what the remedy, we can start this one again. Once the service is running, if you reload, connection is back to normal, right? So that is how it works. right? That is how it works. Okay, students, since you have done, we will resume the session, right? Okay, right. Now we have built this connection and we have tested it and it's working really fine, right? We don't no longer need this command, right? So we no longer need this command. So I'm going to comment it. You also can do it because this is just for the troubleshooting or this just for the debugging purpose. I just added that code whether to see that is working or not, right? So each time when you get connected to a database, you don't have to display that message, right? What we're going to do next is we're going to have this one properly created now. See, this page is there, right? Sample page. So this is how it looks. So I'm going to create step one. Let me show you how it's going to done. I'm going to have one page created first, another page created. This is my storyboard or my wireframe for you to explain what's going to happen, right? So my plan is this file name is going to be add underscore product underscore one dot php. Add product one dot php. File naming is very important. Properly, you need to do it. I will be checking this one in your. I'll be checking this one in your assignment. Okay, file naming should be properly done. Then this page is going to be add product 2 and this one is going to be add product 3. Okay, so I'm going to do add add in these 3 steps. This is my plan for the adding routine or this is what we are learning, adding a new record. So or you can call it whatever you like. Okay, we are going to do this part. So we're going to do that in 3 steps. So we need to build step by step. So I don't know whether I can finish the whole thing today because it will be taking some time, right? It depends on your this one, right? Okay, let me first of all do this part, right? So in this, what I'm building is first here I will be building the UI. UI means I will build the HTML forms where the user will record the details about the products. Then we're going to have a submit button, okay button. Once you do that, we're going to bring all the information to the add product 2 page. We already have done this one in chapter 6. We know how to bring it. Once we bring that, we're going to put that values. We're going to receive them to variables and we're going to build an SQL command, which is an insert into command. And using that SQL command, we're going to use that one with PHP language anyway. And we will be executing that. When we execute that, the database will be updated. It will get recorded in the database. So then we will get the confirmation from there whether it got added or not. And that confirmation, we're going to show it to the front end, right? It won't come here. Actually here itself, we're going to show whether it was added or what was the status of that. So this is my plan actually. So at the end of the session, I'll upload this to the Edmodo, right? Okay, so let it be there, right? Right, I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to close this. When you are practicing for customers, I'm doing it for products. You can do it for customers. You create a table for customer name, address, telephone number, email, gender, credit limit, something like that. You have a table. Then you create this. I'm creating the products part. You do the customers part, right? Watch what I'm doing first. I'm going to select this sample page.php I have given. Every library has been properly linked. This page, I built it for you. What you do is you simply press the letter D for dog, letter D on the keyboard, then the duplicating box comes, you can type add underscore product underscore one dot php, add product one dot php. So this title I'm going to change to add new products or product. Then there's a heading here. I will change add new product. Add new product. So let's take a look at the page, how it looks now. So each time we'll have to delete this and we have to go because we haven't built the dashboard yet. We have to build that, right? So the page looks like this. Add product one.php file is ready. So here your text here, this is a form we're going to build that we will now slowly customize. So for the for the product table, I'm going to send the values title, description, price, and picture. Product number, I'm not going to send. The reason is it's going to get auto generated. I forgot to tell you that auto increment I didn't give, right? So I need to give auto increment here. Please do that in your one as well and save it. So auto increment I have given, right? So that will auto increment, right? Now in my database, in my program, I have given some code, children. So this is how I am actually working in my project. So I just gave you the same code for you. Otherwise, it's not useful for you, right? So for example, contact us form and all. This is how we properly build HTML form, right? So with all the formattings, with the what do you call the bootstrap and all, the same with these icons like things which is coming in front of it. So in order to get the same look and feel, I have given the code like this. As I told you, I'm not going to spend much time explaining or tweaking this code, right? So I will just do it how to do that part. So what you basically see here is inside the HTML form, right? We have basically form, class is there, form, no need to change anything. Action, we need to change, and method is post, no need to change, right? So I'm going to change this part to add underscore add underscore product underscore 2.php, add product 2.php. Okay, add product 2.php. Navi, do you have a doubt, Puta? Right. Down here you have the heading. This I just changed it. Then there's a div code is there. This is for creating a form row, because now here you can see inside one row like this, if you want to have multiple columns of components, this is the way to create it. Otherwise, only one component you can usually have in HTML form if you are normally doing. That's the reason I have built like this. So form row I have given as the class, align item left, no need to change all these things. Okay, so it says div, again another one is coming, div. This is for that component. This is for a particular component. That means for this part, right? So I have given class form group. You have to give, it's a form group, because this is one piece, this is another piece, form group, and a label is another piece. So it is a form group. Column size LG4, large screen, it will take 6. Medium screen, it will take 6. That means this is the entire area. From here to here, it is going to divide that section into 12 sections, 12 columns, grid. That is in Bootstrap, we have already learned it. So if you want to see, I can show you. The 12 means if you give 12, it's going to take up to here. Do you see that? It's coming up here. Don't worry, this is going beyond this picture, because this picture is a small picture I have used. That's the reason. Okay. Right. So we will restrict it again for 6 if you want, right? So I'm going to type. Anyways, the title I'm going to have first. So I'm going to set it to 12. Title, I'm going to have it 12, right? So here I'm going to say title, right? Title. So if I reload, you can see it becomes title, or product title, we can say. Product title. So here you can type. You can type like this, what example, right? Let's say we are selling what, we can sell any item, right? Okay, we will say for the time being, I'll just type something. Okay, products. We are selling electronics products. right? Okay, let's say MP3 player. So inside the placeholder, it will be displayed. So you can type, right? So when you're filling, you can type new table fan for sale, or you can say whatever the brand, let's say ABC, new fan for sale. Likewise, you can put, if it is a site like Ikman, you can put like for sale. Otherwise, you just put the title is enough. Okay, right. So all those things are fixed. This icon also you can change. The icon you change, this is the place where you are using I tag like this. This is using Font Awesome. Font Awesome, S stands for solid. If you want to learn how to use those things, you can go to Font Awesome website. Okay. Um, Font Awesome websites, and you can go for the icons. And for example, you can search for title. Okay, there's nothing coming, right? Okay. We'll say product. If you type, something comes, it says this icon coming, like, so, or else we'll say new. So that is how it's coming, right? So we can put something. So let's say we'll try this plus mark here. So FAS here, FA we'll type plus there, it might work. So if you change, say it is coming like that, right? So if you type, see, a globe can come. You can put whatever the product type is there, right? I'm going to type for the time being, let's say, if it is not there, an animation will come like that. Text is not there. It's not there. For the time being, I'll keep it a globe. Okay. If I come up with another word, I'll put it. Right. I'll keep it globe. Right. The next one we're going to build is the description. So this is how you should do. Right. This row, one row only we are building. Row by row, please build. Okay. So this row itself here, up from there up to here, form control format ends here, right? So here this is end of form. You can say say row ends here. We'll keep like that, right? So from here, I'll take from here, right? So from here up to here, I'm just going to copy this, right? I'll just copy that. Copy, and you can press the enter key several times nicely and go inside and paste it once more. Now, if you reload this, this will have again another component coming, right? The previous one, we have to set the name also, right? So it says component ID is, I'm going to say title, name also title, right? Okay. Then second one, the label, I'm going to say description or product description, right? Maximum characters, we'll say 500. We'll give a restriction like that. Then here I can't use input type text, so I can delete that. Instead, I'm going to type text area. Okay, text area. So name is important. It should be description. ID also I can put description. Rows, I don't need 8. I can have 4. Columns, 80, no problem. So let's reload and see how it looks. So this is not Bootstrap enabled yet. So we have to put class form control. Then it comes like that. So since I'm planning to put the whole area from here to here, I didn't bother changing much, right? So that's also built now. Let's go for another one. We have price and this one picture. So I will again take another form row. I'm going to take that, copying and pasting, and I will come here now we have, this is for one component. Now one component, I'm going to have this one set to 6. This is also set to 6. Then I'm going to put here um, price. Then this one I'm going to put input type, number, name, I'm going to say price, ID, I'm going to say price, and I'm going to have here, I'm going to have a class form control. Okay, form control. Let's reload this one and see what happens. Right. So these icons we can change it later. So this taking half of it. So no characters or symbols can be typed. So that's the beauty of that. Price name is right. This is right. Okay. Now after this, but before this, because we are in one row, I'm going to put one more component here. So I'm going to copy this piece. See, div form group column LG6 part. So you can see when I click that one, below here it is showing in blue. I'm going to have a copy here. Then I'm going to have some space and I'm going to again paste it. And this time I'm going to change it as picture. Input type, I will change it as file. Again, form control, name, picture, ID. Again, I can give picture. So we'll take this one here, right? ID, picture. So once you reload this, so your web page looks something like this. It's a little bit taller. We can fix that anyways, right? So input type file and it goes like that. I think we have to work with the margin of this one, then we can mix it. Now I don't have time to do that one, right? So I will, once the class finishes, if possible, I'll retouch this. So my form is almost ready. Form is almost ready. Now I need to go again, create another row now. So I'm going to copy this one. Just don't worry, just copy this, right? So let's copy. And I'm going to paste it here. Come up here. I don't need the both ones. Right. Need all of them. Right. So here I'm going to have no label. I don't want a label there. But I'm going to have input type submit. If you want, you can give the name. It's not a must. And value, of course, it's a must. We need to say submit, register, or add now, right? We'll say add now. And we can have another component here. We'll see whether we can do that. Reset button. We say cancel, right? So take a look at it, how it looks. Okay, two buttons are coming. Actually, I don't need this. Right, we don't need that part. Right, that is quite fine for me. I don't actually, children, I don't have time to format this one, right? So here I need to put class btn, we'll say btn success. Okay, I have two classes there, that's why. Right, it's coming like that. Then same thing, we'll put it to the other one and we'll change again. Cancel, we will put danger. So we have the green and red color ones are there. So each one will do their own type of things. See, it's working fine, right? So if you hit this one, it will go to product2.php file. It's trying to locate that file. So it's working pretty fine. Okay, right. So that's how it works. That's how it works. So, right, I just built it. This is quite fine for me. So, next portion of this session we're going to do is we're going to have uh, we're going to fill this information here, and we're going to hit the add now button, and we're going to receive the information in the second page. Remember, I have not done the validations. Fine tuning the application, I will do it separately. Let me do that one by one. Okay, right, watch this. So for this project, what I will do is inside the chapter 7, again, I'm creating a new file. I'm not duplicating anything, creating a new file. Letter A I pressed, then I'm creating add underscore product underscore 2.php, and this file is going to be a pure PHP file, right? Okay, first thing first, in this one, for your reference, I'm just typing some comments. Okay, all right. First, we have to get ourselves connected to the database server. So in order to do this, children, I am not sure whether we did this one earlier. Require and require once, I think we did that file. Neither. Yeah, did you do that? Require command.
Great, sir.
All right, cool. So we're going to do, I'm going to just use require. It's a must. This file should be there. Require within double quotations. I'm going to say db underscore connection. This file is a must. db underscore connection.php. If this connection is successful, beyond the lines, it will execute. Otherwise, it will simply stop there. Right. So require part is given. Now we're going to do a get the values from the form. They say um, add product 1.php and display. So we're going to first of all display the details what are coming from form 1, right? Okay. So we're going to have it like this. So I will write echo. This is a small debug code I'm writing. Doesn't matter how big your project is, please do like this to avoid the errors, right? So we're going to say print R. I have already taught you what is that. Print R. So you use the request array because whatever the method that you use to send the information, definitely it's getting copied to the built-in arrays, which is one of that is request array. So we are displaying the details of the request array here. So that's all here. The rest of the thing we will do it in the next class, but I will just show you what's going to happen now. Let's go here and we'll refresh this page, and let's just click this one without feeling anything. Now that is a big thing because we are getting connected to the next page. Add product underscore 2.php file is properly getting connected, and title, description, price, and picture are the fields in the form, but there is no value has been added here because we did not fill it properly. Right, now let's fill the information properly here and see whether we can get something done. For here we will say new table fan. That's the product. We will say uh, new table fan information can be added here. You do that. So when you're doing, you do it, please, right? So I don't have time to do it. Then price, let's say 7,500. Then if you like, you can choose an image here, but for the time being, file uploading, we are not doing. So after finishing the database programming, I'm going to separately teach you how to do the file uploading. Then we're going to again come here, make the version 2 of this one, and we will link the file uploading code to this. For the time being, we are only doing the data. We are adding that. So this one, I'm not going to bother about that. Just click on the add new button. Let's say what are the information coming. File, description, and picture is coming, right? Okay, one more small thing I need to change here in product one, children, which is um, in the form, I need to enable binary file upload. So to do that, I need to say ENC type, encoding type, multi-part form data. I need to add this one, otherwise I won't be able to upload an image, right? Okay, so let it be there. So by the time we are uploading images, we will upload it, right? Okay, let's go back once more. Let's reload this, right? So I typed it new, oh, right? Then we hit the add new button. So that information is nicely coming to the other page. So you can see title, yes, value received, description, value received, price, value received. So we can add this to our database, right? So that will have some steps to involving. So now the time is almost 2 o'clock. So for this part, we will conclude the class from here today, and next section, we will do it in the next class, right? So you have plenty of things to practice anyway today. So make sure that you are ready to build your the other part, which is customer part, you start building, right? So for the videos, okay. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.